Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Welcome to Local Yokelz.
No.
Just so you know, I'm just diving in because we're gonna record it all. This is like this is like the first Local Yokelz with now 4 people, 5 people, 4 people. I don't count as 2. I thought I did for a second, but holy shit, man! Everybody, go around. We got Jamison motherfucking Jones in the house. This is the first time he's on a podcast, man.
What's
Jamison,
up, everybody?
Dude, ever since we started talking and telling stories, it was like, we have to find a way to eventually get you roped into this. And when you reached out, I was like, fucking perfect, dude. And we got Caleb back. Caleb, what was that? What was that just came out of your nostrils?
Just some vapors.
Just some vapors.
Some dragon's breath. Hello, hot dogs.
The hot dogs welcome you back, of course.
It's good to
and
be
then
back.
We've got one more in the house, Nick Flannery. You stinking goon. What have you been up to?
Hey. I'm trying to teach myself how to sing, and it's going okay.
I heard it. Yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, dude. I heard those clips, and honestly, you're doing just dang fine, man. I wouldn't sweat it too much.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of heavy lifting being done by an auto-tune program that I have. So
that's what it's for.
Don't take it at face value.
It's okay. You can mix it all and hide it.
If it's good enough for T-Pain, it's good enough for anyone.
T-Pain used it as a tool, man.
Yeah, I know. I watched that pop documentary on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, I watched the same one. It was so good.
Oh, dude.
I can't remember what it was called. But
and he can sing like for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to hang out with him. I don't want to hang out with T-Pain. He seems like a cool guy.
Oh, for a second, I thought you said you don't want to hang out with T-Pain.
Oh, I would.
That's what I heard too. I heard I don't want
I would never say that.
Stake that claim right now. Okay, well, Nick wants to hang out. Nick would hang out with T-Pain. I'll be that guy. I don't want to hang out with T-Pain.
What?
T-Pain, I know you're listening. I'm sorry. It's just never going to happen.
I think I'm gonna
just preemptively turning him down. T-Pain's inevitable invitation to hang out.
Rude.
I'm gonna have to go with Jared. Like, I have no interest in hanging out with T-Pain, but I would still do it just for the story.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess it would be hard. Like if you woke up and you just knocking at your door. He's like, hey man, just in town, here to hang out.
You could basically do that with Bam. Like at his place. He just has an open property and people just walk up, hang out, skate at his place.
Dude, I remember, like, especially when I don't even remember what season of Viva La Bam it was, but when he moved into that castle and started building that like snake run driveway or whatever the fuck it was, like this shit looked like it was the most desirable thing. You're just like, yeah, dude, a fucking constant party house.
At the age that we were, it seemed like the coolest thing that we could have conceived at the time.
It did.
Bam
but
and doing all that, and then like what was it, Rob Dyrdek in like the Fantasy Factory thing, like it was just, this is what you do when you have way too much money, just a bunch of stupid irresponsible shit.
Well, it was like this weird period of time where all of a sudden skaters, like there was, it was like celebrity chefs just became a thing. Now like celebrity skaters was becoming a thing, and that was like, I think probably like Bam was probably the closest. I mean, Tony Hawk, I don't know, like he's like a celebrity in a way, but he also is just like, he's recognized as being like a skate icon. Like people like Bam are recognized for like not just skating.
Their personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really?
Exactly.
At the time, that whole scene was huge too. Like the X Games was happening then, and that was like the biggest thing in the world. And it was literally in the second Goofy movie.
It was.
That's how you know it's real.
That's exactly it.
So I think it was like on the not quite on the coattails, but something like that. on the coattails, like the massive X Games, X Sports Extreme, whatever. Like,
Yeah, dude.
zeitgeist of it was. I think like there was also that hilarious underground side of it that was like CKY, Jackass, Bam.
Definitely.
But-
Dude, yeah, definitely. I would definitely was down that CKY rabbit hole for a while. It was just so much, well, because like, especially at that age, it was so much fun to just fuck with people. You know what I mean? Like, just to get the reactions out of people was just like, was worth it alone, you know? But I definitely like ended up doing running shopping carts into too many things and shit like that. Like it was, looking back on that, I probably destroyed a lot of personal property.
I've done a shopping cart. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah, man. We used to, well, because like I used to roll this this old buddy of mine named Andy Cutrich, who me and David just recalled the fact that he was actually also part of the first Whack Arnold's lineup.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Still never gonna confirm all of the various lineups of that band. The Wikipedia article is just gonna be blank.
Wait,
Dude, I thought about that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I thought about that a while ago. Like, how funny it would be to like try to write a Wikipedia article, like chronicling this bullshit. But it's fact.
It's gonna be hard because the Whack Arnold's lore has to be a part of that story too, and they went to space multiple times.
Hey man,
I don't know what the Whack Arnolds are doing up in space, but you're gonna have to chronicle a lot of basically just a sci-fi epic.
with imagination,
I was going to ask,
everything's boundless.
was the show where I was used as a microphone stand or a keyboard stand? Was that a Whack Arnold show or was that something else?
That was. I just distinctly.
Does that mean I get to be a member?
You're an honorary member of the Whack Arnold, definitely.
Yes. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was a Whack Arnold show. I definitely remember we booked that under a different name though, because I was at the point in time where people stopped wanting the Whack Arnolds to be a part of things,
Especially the knave and the green jacket.
Yeah. So, because it was like, God, dude, it was like a bunch of like Wenatchee hardcore kids and like Derek Zanto's band at the time, and like whatever that was. It was like, you know, like a grungy sort of whatever.
Yeah.
And he got, because it was his, like, I think he had like some of the equipment. We broke a mic that set too, and somebody got mad at us for breaking their mic, and I'm pretty sure it was Derek. He got over it eventually, I promise. He used to go see us play up in fucking Bellingham when me and Jeremiah were still doing like other shit. So.
Well, I follow him on Instagram. He's always out and about doing cool like roadie stuff and being an audio engineer and I don't know, doing cool stuff. I haven't seen him in the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I imagine he's doing all right.
Oh, sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, you're good. You're good, man. What you got?
I mean, we got 4 people. It's gonna be tricky, but I was gonna, getting it. I was gonna ask.
Saw nothing.
I saw nothing.
Professional podcast.
I didn't walk into the other room to find a silly vape. I didn't do that. Anyway, I was gonna like ask all of you guys collectively if you can recall all the different weird bands that you've been in. Because I've lost track. We really do need to build that spider web.
So
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about this a little bit, and I think I wasn't involved in too many. I was there for a lot of recordings, but I was a founding member of Steel Armadillos with Caleb and Rex, and then we switched to the Fire, the Famine, the Flood when we kicked Rudy out. And David took over as the singer, but it literally lasted like 2 months, and trying to be a serious band wasn't nearly as fun. So
that's what killed it for me
quickly. And then I played bass in Taking Back Sparta for a little while. And then in high school, it wasn't like our group per se, but I was in a band with Nick and Jeremiah for a little while. Gideon's Wrath.
Oh yeah.
That's right, dude.
I
You guys
just
did
quit immediately before the first show.
Yeah, like 2 days before.
Yeah, you guys wanted to play a show. We didn't have any songs practiced. We hadn't learned a song yet, or written a song that wasn't a ripoff of like 7 different August Burns Red riffs.
Well, and that was the big letdown because we actually were pretty good.
Yeah.
We played the Nick quit and Zach Street came, or not Zach Street, Zach Rogers played guitar for us, and we played the talent show, and then 2 days later, Emmett, I was listening to an August Burns Red album, and I'm like, this is the exact guitar riff that is the basic part of our song, and I brought it up to Emmett, and he's like, yeah, I couldn't really think of anything, so I just ripped it off. And so then soon after that band dissolved as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
Plagiarism.
Oh, man.
I gotta say, what a waste of talent. Dane Gifford was a crazy talented drummer, just out of left field too, and then he just didn't do anything after that, I don't think.
Yeah, dude, I remember that too. Yeah, it was supremely surprising how good Dane was behind a kit, and I had never
his set.
Yeah, I didn't even ever see him play or anything before that. I don't know if he was secretly practicing or something, but yeah, dude, that cat was really, yeah. He said, I remember that talent show though. You guys played Beat It, or
yeah, we played Beat It. Yeah, we played we only had the one rip-off song, so we played that, and then the last 2 minutes of it, we did a breakdown and went into Beat It.
There you go. That's always it. Just do a breakdown and then go. Something will pop up after that.
I remember at that talent show. I don't know why, because I really like Aaron to this day, Aaron Fox, but he got cranky with me about something. And I don't know, we were both just all being fired up young men, and he got in my face and was threatening me or something, just bullshit. And then
super out of character for him.
I think I just pushed him, and he kind of bumped up against the little railing or whatever in the audience section of that spot in the high school, and then he just then we just whatever, okay. And then everything was cool after that, but I think that's the night Jamison, I think you were there. Or no, was it Rex? Maybe it was both of you guys, but I had to pee really bad, so
that was me.
I peed outside in a place I probably shouldn't have, and a cop drove by, and I yelled at him.
You waved at him. You were furious, and you were like, and fucking waved at the cop with your dick out. So, it was great.
Allegedly. Let's use that word heavily.
Oh man, well, I don't know if I've ever had a moment where I've dick out waved at a cop, but I definitely have my share of peeing in public, that's for sure.
I didn't know you could catch a charge back then, otherwise I wouldn't have done it.
Man, always trying to restrict our rights,
It's risky business.
But Caleb, what about you though? So you were also part of Steel Armadillos.
Yeah, and then I guess for a second the Fire, Fan of the Flood. I suppose we can say honorary member of the Whack Arnolds now.
Yeah, you can put that on the belt.
Yeah, I fucking better too, because Fitz was smashing that keyboard all over my back and my head. Shit hurt.
Didn't he try to flip it on you?
Yeah, I was gonna say he was doing skate tricks with it. It was like a giant tech deck.
I kept looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? What's happening? Yeah, so there's that.
The amount of keys played, 50. The amount of skate tricks performed, 75. Definitely. It was definitely more skate tricks than keyboard playing.
It was a spectacle.
It was part of the performance.
Those things came more naturally, David.
But,
he did, dude. That dude's honestly he's a bit of a performer. I think he always has been. But okay, so you got those. What
those
else you got?
three, and then Zebras in America.
Was Zebras in America the band with East of Jarvis?
Yes.
Okay,
That was
so
one
I
of
wasn't
my favorite songs.
We
I wasn't
performed it.
in that band, but when Zebras in America played at the Grange, I went on stage to scream fuck for East of Jarvis.
Yes.
I
And
played
so-
in that show. I
Yeah,
remember
so
that.
We're all actually members of Zebras in America.
Whoa.
But I thought that was it was supposed to be a Sath reunion show.
It was. We did play
Right.
Sath songs, but I think I had to do vocals and Rex had to do some because Matt Heiler was like
Would not do it.
probably
I think
yeah.
the four of us,
Wasn't it?
the four of us did vocals because I remember you guys were like, you got to learn some of the Sath songs to sing, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Bye.
I have the faintest memory of that show. I think Sath only played like 2 or 3 shows, and
It was like a hybrid thing.
yeah, it was very strange. It was a good time though.
It's like
So
Linkin
this is
Park and Jay-Z.
So this is a Zebras band reunion. We just need Rex. Is that what we
Yeah, Rex is the only one out. He said we can use him as like a dial-in, like phone a friend type guy. Have him call in.
We need to take him up on that. So.
What is that? Doesn't he have a fucking computer? He can just use Zoom like this.
He's Rex. I don't know what he does. He probably has like an ATM in his house.
He sends us a
It's on
fucking
the internet from
telegram.
that.
I picture Rex like John Connor in Terminator 2. He's just like he's using like weird stuff to just like hack into different devices to use the internet and to like do different things, but he doesn't actually use it himself. At home it's complete candlelight.
No, he's just sitting in his basement somewhere, writing impossible to play music on that like old. What was that program called?
Oh, was it Guitar Pro?
Something terrible like that. Yeah,
It was some kind of like horrible MIDI mapping
it sounded
Oh,
like.
man.
program.
Did you guys? What was that project that him and Jeremiah did like not that long ago? It was like a few years ago. Did you guys catch it? It was like, oh my god, it was.
I know
They
the
had a
one you're
song
talking
called.
about.
They had a song called Red Rocket Rudy.
Wait, I do remember that.
It was like I can't. Oh my god, I can't remember. It was fucking ridiculous music though.
It
But
was so. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it just exactly reminded me of like something Rex would be involved in though. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
But beyond
yeah.
beyond Zebras, which apparently we're all in, I think I don't know. Like I think the Technicolor Waldo's was the last one, and then I had and then I struck out on my own because I wanted this is why I left the Waldo's, Jared. The main reason.
What?
I was like this is fun. I'm enjoying this, but I wanted to like kind of do like explore musical stuff on my own. But mostly I wanted to hang out with females and skateboard and smoke a lot of weed. And
That's fair though.
band practice was cutting into that. That's 100% true.
Well, it was just a bunch of dudes smoking and Rex skating and you sometimes skating out back and then practice happening in between.
Yeah.
It was a little of that, but I could see the needs not being met.
I struck out on my own as Dr. Unicorn for a brief time.
Dr. Unicorn.
It's my DJ alter ego.
You're a dubstep DJ.
No, I liked house music more. That's more fun.
Yeah.
Man, that's a whole other thing, like breaking down like electronic music, dude. Like,
Oh yeah, we
like
could do that.
I've been, we've been casually doing that between like, having you on Caleb and like Jeremiah and stuff. Like all you guys are like so much more into like different types of like metal genres and whatnot. That's super interesting. But same thing with like like house music and like electronic and stuff like that. It's like, god damn, dude. There's so
Maybe
many
even more
layers now.
so.
Oh yeah.
Like, sometimes it's really strange, man. And I can't tell the distinctions all the time. And I'll admit that. But yeah, I just like, if somebody's like, no, this is house, I'm like, okay.
Send me some links. We can sort you out.
This is deep
Fair
house. This is dark
Yeah.
wave.
What's the difference between deep house and house? Like,
Usually
house
just
is
the
like-
BPM.
Yeah, I'd say deep house
Okay.
is like really subdued. Think what
Yeah.
you'd hear like when you walk into in H&M.
Like there's probably like like the BPM is a big one, like Jamison said, but also just the range of frequencies. Like electro house is going to have a lot more like it's going to be a lot more noisy and like kind of excitable than deep house. And then there's steady beat and broken beat, and then there's just tons and tons of branches off of that.
that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. I think all of you guys, like, it's interesting because it's like all of you guys, obviously still are like constantly, or you're plugging yourself into music always. It's just, I need everybody else. I need you guys to send me playlists, man. Yeah, Nick's got his whole setup back there.
Yeah.
yeah. I need you guys to start building me playlists of stuff that you're listening to, so I can listen to it, check it out.
I want to know.
I want one from all three of you. That'd be great.
I
James, what have you
asked-
been listening to lately?
Dude, my musical
I didn't mean to
taste
cut you
Are you
off.
good?
That was my
Go ahead, Jameson. Yeah.
nowadays are super lame. Like I have one giant playlist that I just listen to at work that's like classic rock and just stuff that I can listen to with 40-year-old guys and it's not going to freak them out.
Fair enough.
And then, after I moved to Idaho, when Caleb was a DJ, he got me into the electronic music and I got really into house and trance for a while. So,
Okay.
but I haven't listened to that in years. So I do have to say, Dusty gave me a tip on one of these podcasts and I checked out Manchester Orchestra.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Damn, that new album is good. I've been listening to that so much off of his suggestion on here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Dusty was on it. I didn't even realize that they were dropping a new album until he brought it up, and then I had to check it out. Yeah, dude, I really dig that. I'm kind of with you though, man. Like what sucks is that so much of my musical like energy gets sucked up at work, and at work we just have like a set amount of like neutral-esque music that we play for everybody.
Yep.
And I think that's what burns me out. It's like that's why I don't really like spend too much time like digging into other stuff.
Yep.
Because it's just like, you spend like 40 hours a week listening to whatever else, and you're just like, all right, that's music for me right now.
If I have to hear Hotel California one more time, I'm like,
Yeah, that's Don't Stop Believing for me.
yeah.
I can't hear that song anymore.
yeah. I think honestly, like because of like my work, it's just like I'm over like things like the Beatles and like, I used to genuinely enjoy like the random Zeppelin song, but it's slowly becoming annoying because it's like the same hit song,
Every
you always
time.
are like, you're like Stairway to Heaven's happening at some point, and though Stairway to Heaven's a fun song, you hear it like 10 times a day, you're like, fuck Stairway to Heaven. I'm taking the escalator to hell, man. It's all good.
No, you work at a guitar store.
There's a meme going around about that.
No
like,
stairway.
on fire right now. There's like memes about all the negative things that can happen to you if you try to play Stairway to Heaven at a guitar center. I've been pretty entertained by it.
I want
A lot of explosions in that one.
I've done it and nothing bad happened. No one looked at me.
You're going to hell though.
Yeah.
But that was already
You're going to
confirmed.
hell.
I don't think it was playing Stairway. If my dad was right, I'm fucked.
I just like to try and I try to hope that my mom just doesn't think about where I'll end up anymore, because I feel like she'll just she believes what she wants to believe, but at the same time it's like, Ma, you really dig into it, you're just gonna come to one conclusion for me, and like I don't think you're gonna like that.
My favorite piece of wisdom from Rick and Morty is just don't think about it.
Just don't think about it. Just something'll happen.
That kind of made me think of just yesterday, my mom drove over to watch my kid while Amy had to work, because we work split schedules, so somebody's always home with the kid. But she had some training to do, so my mom came over to watch, and I was just kind of talking to my mom, and we were drinking a bottle of wine, and like I really had no rules when I was in like junior high and high school, like our friend group age.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to your guys' stories, and I remember like, Nick, you weren't allowed to go to the Grange a lot of the time. My mom really did not give a shit what I did.
She kind of just, well, I mean, but like that's the thing though, like I don't know, man, like I'm very conflicted by like the too much authority with parents, man. Like you have to, like, in a way, you have to let kids experience things, otherwise they're not going to know how to experience things. And so that's like the kind of the brilliance of that kind of like style of parenting. That's like, in a way, I think it's good for people, because I don't think it's good for like like my folks, my dad was like would regiment like what fucking movies we were able to have at the house, you know? Like shit like that. Like the reason I didn't listen to like a ton of music growing up was because like it was always like, well, it had to be approved by the folks, you know, and then, so it's just like, what's the fuck, what is the fucking point? Like,
I can't
I'll
tell
stick
you
with Smash Mouth. Okay.
I cannot tell you how much just like straight up just satanic black metal I had to hide from my parents in my room.
Well,
I straight up think my dad stole I was borrowing a copy of Clockwork Orange from Rex. And my dad was like, whose DVD is this? And like, he just straight up took it. I was like, that's not even yours, dude. I have to give that back to a friend. Like, you can't like weird shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Caleb gave me a copy of a Children of Bodom album once, and I was not into that, but I remember I just left it like on my counter, and my mom saw it, and there's like pentagrams on it, and in the band photo one of the guys wears a shirt that says "I love crack" on it, and my mom looks at it and she's like, where did you get this? And I was like, oh, one of my friends. And she's like, ugh, put it in your backpack or something.
The shirt said "Smoke crack, worship Satan."
Yeah, even better.
Even better. Oh my god! Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I got in trouble for listening to Linkin Park.
You got trouble for Linkin Park?
Dude,
That's early 2000s kids problems.
I think Nick and I probably have like similar, like really strict, like with you know, like I wasn't allowed to listen to non-Christian music for the longest time.
Same.
And
I had it was a breakthrough when my folks let my older brother get a fucking POD album. You know?
Which is a Christian band, isn't it?
Yeah. It is like that.
Yeah.
Didn't Katy Perry do a guest spot on one of their songs?
She did.
I remember that.
Wow.
She's a pastor's kid.
That was pre I Kissed a Girl Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Once she kissed that girl, everything changed for her.
Yep.
The world changed.
That's what happens when you grow up
She
and
became
you're
a California girl then.
when your parents are like in the church, like pastors or whatever. You grow up and you start kissing girls,
Oh man.
singing about it.
But that's the thing. I mean, yeah. Like, I don't know, man. Like my folks, like I had to like constantly, like I just constantly bullshit my parents when I was growing up. It was like, yes, I'm just gonna go do this one thing, and then like completely like, I got to tell them I was staying up at like my friend up at Luke's house, and we'd be like over at the fucking Grange, you know, shit like that. And it was like, what was so strange to me was like how they never fucking caught on, because it was all like a lot of the debauchery was in like a 6-block radius from like where we all lived.
I think like my tactic with it when I was younger was, the best way I can describe it is, it applies to everything, but they'd be like, hey, mow the lawn. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd get on the riding lawnmower and I'd make it go as fast as fucking possible. And I'd lower the blade as low as it would go and just mow the lawn like an asshole. And so they never asked me to do it again. And so basically, if I did something and they're like, hey, we don't like that, it was like, I'm going to make this so much trouble for you to address that you're just not going to after a certain point.
Yeah, you're gonna learn the lesson.
That's a preacher's kid, everyone.
Yep.
Fair enough, man. And yeah, like I just like my folks, like not my mom. It was always my dad. Like everybody knew this about my dad. My dad was just like an asshole. He's not listening, so it doesn't matter. I've told him about the podcast, but no, but he would do shit like that. He'd be like mow the lawn, and then you wouldn't do it right, and then he'd like the next week he would like show you exactly how to do it, and then if you didn't do it right the week after that, he would like throw your shit out of the lawn or something like that. Like, you know, like stupid, like asshole-ish shit like that. So yeah, it was just like everything that I got away with was just like it just like it was all sneaky. It was all sneaky around my house, man.
See,
it was so
I always enjoyed, I mean, because we all could tell like Jamison or Rex, like famously super cool, chill parents. We tell them stories about stuff like our parents were like, what? They're just,
That I remember, like I've told my mom some of the stories, and like this weekend she's like, I don't want to know. You don't have to tell me. And I remember like you guys would all come over and my mom and Kevin would literally get an ice chest and lock themselves in their bedroom just so that they wouldn't hear us doing whatever we were doing.
Smart.
That is smart. That is
Plausible
smart.
deniability.
That's fucking funny. Yeah, man. Like that's that's the, like, I don't know. There's like little pockets, like Jamison, your place when growing up was like, there. Yeah, it was always like kind of like this little like pocket of like sanctuary freedom for you know, where we could like just like actually hang out and, you know, goof off and like, you know, just be fucking weird and shit like that. And like, you know, and same thing with like Troy's house growing up. Troy's house was also kind of like that, you know.
Well, my parent, you know, my mom married my stepdad, like it must have been when I was in 9th grade or something. So they were kind of in that honeymoon phase and traveled a bunch. And my grandparents that lived next door, they left all winter. They were like snowbirds. So we basically had free reign of the house like all fall and winter. Like my parents would leave for like 2 weeks at a time. So
yeah,
I mean, just have everyone over and we do what we did.
Yeah, we do what we did. Whip Caleb with wet towels and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the tame shit.
That's the tame. Yeah, like I mean, like how like I know you guys would like shoot off like fucking bows and arrows and that at your place and shit like that, right?
We had a Lord of the Rings marathon.
How many? Yeah, we did. I'm wondering how many close maimings, like how many close times did I'm just butchering the sentence. How many times did somebody almost get maimed at Jamison's house?
I don't know. I think like most of the time we were pretty chill. Like the most like intense thing that I remember getting like afraid of at my house, like Nick showed up. This must have been after high school, but it was in the fall and we had already drained the pool and we were changing out the liner in it. And Nick was like drunk, just running laps around the pool, screaming at the top of his lungs. And I was like, for God's sake, we're definitely getting the cops called on us. It's like 1 a.m. and he's just screaming.
There's an insane person that lives inside Nick when he drinks the right amount.
I try not to drink that amount anymore.
You did it at
smart move.
My teepee as well, and you broke my sprinkler. And you were trying to pull my heart out like Indiana Jones.
Well, I learned some old Celtic magic earlier.
Oh, that's
trying to do it. Yeah.
I remember you yelling gibberish and just running circles around the teepee, and then you ran into a sprinkler.
That wasn't gibberish. I don't know what it meant, but it was some kind of words.
You drank
Celtic magic?
You drank a coffee mug full of vodka.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I ripped my pants. Those are my favorite pants.
Yeah. You
Damn.
created a geyser in my room.
That
need to shut off the water main.
I have a bunch of stuff from listening to all the recent podcasts that like things that I wanted to interject in, and this kind of added or made me think of you and Dusty, Jared, were talking about where we got booze from back in the day, and you were saying that Scott's grandparents, but we also have to remember that a lot of the whiskey came from my grandparents because they would go south and they would go to California and literally bring back cases of Black Velvet. So we would steal the half gallons of PV from my grandparents.
Yeah.
That's why I just anytime I think about drinking at your place, it was like I remember I just have like images of like half gallons of BV like that label, man. Because it's true though, it's true.
Every year they'd come back with like 4 cases, and then pretty soon there's like 5 years worth of booze piled up down in the shed. And it's like they are not gonna miss this and even realize it's gone. So
What is that? What is that? Like, you just start like buying massive. I mean, maybe it's just because you just start recognizing that like you'd rather just get a little buzzed at your own place.
But my
to
grandparents
the bar or something.
didn't even hardly drink. It was mostly because they had 3 daughters who all lived in Washington, so booze is super expensive. So they would do it just as a nice thing, you know, so that when my aunts would come, they could be like, here, you guys take a case with you. But like my aunts that lived in one lived in Seattle and she barely drank, and my other aunt lived in Portland, and they would come up like once every other year. So we would end up with these massive stockpile of booze because no one had ever taken.
Someone did.
Somebody did.
It was put to good use.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
called
we have to
efficient
say-
allocation of resources.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Man, okay, so Nick, we gotta get back to these music projects because I'm genuinely
Yes.
interested in this. So what about you? What can you chronicle?
Well, we're gonna have to try to differentiate between the bands that actually did exist and had songs for them, or just like concepts, maybe just a riff. Those are really hard to nail down. At some point, we were just coming up with band names for the sake of it. Anal Optometrist was one of those.
No, it was Anal Afterbirth.
Oh, Anal Afterbirth was Rex and Aaron Fox's project.
Oh, never mind.
They were noisecore.
There was a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was up with that? Was like a strange, like, why was it everything anal? Like, why was it all like in the
Because
like,
it's shocking.
Yeah, I think
we
it's just like
also,
one of the most shocking things you can think of at the, just like slap anal and like some random disgusting word after it.
Yeah, I mean that was during like the heyday of shock porn too. I mean Tub Girl, Goatsy, BNP Pain Olympics.
The fucking Pain Olympics, goddamn! I haven't thought about either of those things in a while. Tub Girl, goddamn! I'm gonna. Should I screen share?
No.
Yeah, go for it. So I found out later in life that Tub Girl. So the Tub Girl pick that was orange juice.
No, it's not any better.
That makes no. I don't know why. It at least you know it's not anything else. You know that it's orange juice that she put up there herself.
Fair enough.
Or maybe had help with.
Anyways, let's get about these bands, Nick.
Shout out.
Tell us about the bands. God,
Just talk about bands.
I just ate dinner.
We gotta take a hard turn away from Tub Girl. Okay. That's Old Heart Radio. We're Tub Girl adjacent, okay?
Last time it was Chris Gaines. This time, Tub Girl.
Yeah, let's talk about anything else.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So okay. What's like the earliest band that you were a part of, or
That I was
Nick?
that I was a part of was Serenus and the Hemorrhoids for sure. Like that was back when it was literally just everyone in the room at the same time while Rex hooks up a mono like computer speaker to the computer, uses Microsoft Sound Recorder, and we just wing it. Just try to play through a Serenus and the Hemorrhoids song like I Poppy or the Jeans Gate.
Gay.
I really think Sath was the most influential of all the bands. Like, if you really think about it, yes, Sath was ridiculous, but we immediately propped him up to like legendary status, and like any other joke band was because of Sath.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sath played shows. That was the differentiating factor there, at least until Schmouder came along.
For sure.
Yeah, but I kind of agree with Jamison, man. Like, I think if the idea that like, you could play shows and kind of continue that ridiculousness outside of Rex's garage, it probably was born for some people from like Sath and some of those other like just weird projects. But okay, what about after Sath? Post Sath?
After Sath, let's see. I had my solo. Excuse me. Rafford McGonson had his solo project, which is very indicative of the mind of a teenager in the early 2000s. Let's see. What else do we have? So
Are you just Rafford McGonson's like agent? Is that it? You just represent him?
We'll call him a close friend.
Okay.
A close personal friend.
Close. Very personal. Very personal.
What's that? Like Steve Blum, he can't actually admit that he was like the voice actor on a bunch of imported anime products because he was a union actor at the time, and they weren't union jobs, so we had to like make sure he was going by an alias while working for those other studios. But you know it's Steve Blum. It's obviously Steve Blum. Anyway, we're getting into a totally different topic.
What kind of animes though? What has he been a part of that you'd say like he hasn't?
I think he's not credited in Zoids and a few other from like that studio.
Oh, interesting.
That's
super random.
Yeah.
That's no. I mean, like in an interesting way. Yeah, that's okay. So, what else?
Anyways,
so you partnered with Rafford on a couple of projects.
Yeah,
else you got?
I think. So I was never actually an official member of the Steel Armadillos, but I do remember playing guitar in that band for one live show and then doing vocals for one live show.
And I think he might have played just like a solo on one song as well, but I don't know that for sure.
I don't remember it, and from the demos, it's not me on any of those demo recordings that we have. I have all 4 songs.
Those ones that Dusty put up on SoundCloud those were like the rough drafts before because we added vocals with Rex and then I think with you. I don't know if Rodolfo ever.
I don't think he was ever recorded. He just played like live with us twice because we played at the Grange and at the junior high.
Fair enough. And was this like, just for like time frame's sake, was this all happening around when, like the time that like was DFR playing shows around at the Grange and stuff during this time?
This was post DFR though.
Okay.
Steel Armadillos came just after.
That's right.
They were still around.
No, because I remember like I joined the Friends group and it was like 2 months later and DFR broke up.
Well, hang on, because DFR was still active in high school.
Maybe it was just when they kicked out Josh. Maybe, because I remember they brought in Aaron Lesky.
Yep.
When they were a band again. So maybe
That's fucking right, dude. I completely forgot Lesky was a part of the DFR first.
Yeah.
Dude.
Aaron Lesky and that's when they brought Troy Vines in, I think just around the same time that they brought Aaron Lesky on.
That's right. Yeah, Hollywood Vines, man. Dude, Troy's gonna do a podcast soon.
Is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, he reached out and he was like, dude, it's been a long time since we caught up. And I was like, yes, it has, my friend. Like, let's do this. Yeah, it'll be great, man. I'm genuinely excited to see what he's, how he's been doing. Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, because speaking of musical projects, like that was one of the first things when he agreed to do it. I was like, I have to also pick his brain, man, because he was a part of so many different fucking projects.
Yeah. He was in. I think he was in Yesterday Never Came, wasn't he?
He was. That was probably one of the.
A great name.
Everybody can thank Zach Rogers for that.
I actually just missed a call from him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen him lately? How's that cat doing, man?
Yeah, I've hung out with him a couple times. He's doing great. He's been watching his like brother-in-law's place for like the past couple months, and I think they just got an apartment, so they're in the Seattle area now.
Zach?
Yeah.
Nice. I thought he lived in Pennsylvania.
He moved back.
Oh well.
Yeah. He topped out at the company he was at and wanted to make a career change, so he decided he was going to learn cloud development, moved out west. Now he's back around. He's back in the area. I've hung out with him a couple times.
Nice,
cool.
Man, nice.
He's doing pretty good.
Next time you see him, tell him I say what's up? What's up? No, it's not cool anymore. Still not cool.
No, it's still
90s.
Cool.
It's still the 90s, remember?
I still do that.
It is.
So.
It's still the 90s in my head, always.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so you got what? You got what happened after Rafford though, Nick? Did you have anything before? What was like between Rafford and Schmouder?
Between Rafford and Schmouder, well, I was always trying to get my Dragon Feet project off the ground, my power metal band, but I'm pretty sure I was the only person in the entire Wenatchee Valley that liked power metal. So there were never any other members to that band, but I had songs. I had songs written and little demo tracks recorded.
I think that we like jammed one time, and that was like in the infancy of that, but we hadn't, you hadn't called it anything at that point. But I remember that was just a flop because we jammed in my room and my dad just came in and was, be quiet.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Well, I think, like anything that really had the Dragon Feet name attached to it seemed to always end in some sort of cursed fashion.
The cursed name.
It is. It's
the curse
just a
of Dragon
bad topic.
It has yet to be defeated, but I feel like it will be one day. But yeah, so that actually, was that where it was born? Do you think the curse stemmed from this project?
Maybe.
Tell me true, man. Tell me true.
Maybe.
Did you break magical law?
No. The curse of the Dragon Feet happened when Dragon Feet killed the comic book club.
Ah! That's
where that came from, is because Dusty would derail every single session by trying to talk about Dragon Feet.
That's right.
And then
Jared would get so mad at stop it.
Enough of the fucking Dragon Feet, man. Well, we had so much shit going about that. Like, after a while, like, there was like drawings of Dragon Feet that were like plastered on lockers, and it was like, middle of the day, somebody would like open the locker to like gaze at Dragon Feet. It's weird.
It's a weird entity that it's like a trickster energy that just ruins everything it touches.
I'm pretty sure Dragon Feet, like, we didn't create Dragon Feet. Dragon Feet came to us. It's some kind of eldritch horror that, like, our name for it is Dragon Feet, but I don't know, man.
We should stop saying it.
This beast with 2 dragons for feet. I don't know, man. Like, it seems like a fearsome creature.
Well, I mean, now that we've broached the subject, I'm sorry to hear that your podcast is closing down.
Oh no! Yeah, this is the final episode.
Well, actually, maybe it'll be okay because Nick, didn't you sanded away the Dragon Feet painting on that guitar?
Yeah. Oh, the Dragon Scale on my old Dragon Scale guitar looks like this now. I tried to restore it as much as I could, so it's relict. Relict as relic as it can get. It has all the old original white. I replaced a bunch of the hardware in the pickups.
So Caleb, are you saying by him restoring that it might help defeat the curse of Dragon Feet?
It's just like the less power and symbolism, or the less hold over our unconscious minds Dragon Feet has, the better.
I think that was it. That was the key. Is like, eventually we all had to just basically stop talking about Dragon Feet.
Well, we better stop.
People gotta stop drawing Dragon Feet. We just gotta start talking about other things.
Yep.
Dragon Feet is exactly as powerful as you believe it to be.
Yeah. And here we are, just giving him strength again.
Not as much as we used to, so we're probably gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
On the note of the comic book club, I don't know if you ever knew, Jared, but I got a tattoo to commemorate the comic book club.
What?
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got because I wasn't ever a huge comic book guy. It was just what all my friends were doing. So, but just because it was so intense, like, that was kind of the pinnacle of our friends group, I feel like. And I remember, like, after reading a bunch of comics, my favorite was The Killing Joke. And so I got the cover of The Killing Joke tattooed on my leg just to commemorate the comic book club.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool, man. I remember like seeing that you got that. I never did like the story why or anything, but that's really cool, Jamison. That's fucking awesome. And yeah, you're right. The Killing Joke, man, just in general,
it's
great.
Such a good fucking story. Yeah, that's dope, dude. That's way cooler than all my tattoos combined, and I only have 3. So, but yeah, speaking of tattoos, do we all, Nick? Do you have tattoos? I know you two do, Jamison and Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, are you interested in tattoos?
I am now, but the thing is that it's just not high up on my priority list anymore. I mean, yeah, I used to be against it because I didn't want any identifying marks on my body. I thought I was going to lead a very different life. But
fair.
It's now I keep seeing stuff that I like. Like, I like the symbology from Norse mythology. I like Mass Effect symbols. I mean, I can see myself getting tattoos someday, but it's just not a priority. I've got, other stuff going on.
Fair enough. Jamison, what about you? Do you have tattoos on your mind, on your periphery, besides the
I don't know.
dope ass fucking Killing Joke one?
I think because I have like a half sleeve that's like lighthouse, and then on the
That's kinda
inside
sick,
it's got a pirate chip, and I think
cool.
I might just turn this into a full sleeve at
Nice.
some point and do like from the elbow down, it'd be like an underwater scene with like an octopus or something like that. But
That'd be fucking rad, dude.
I don't know. I'm kind of the same way as Nick. Like it's like I have so many other things to spend money on that spending
Absolutely.
it on ink is a little bit hard to justify.
Yeah. It's that is sort of the thing that you realize. I think is like, you know, it becomes like, yeah, if I have like extra fluff money, I'd love to throw that at something. But like, there's quite a few rungs before that. So
Yep.
I feel you, man.
I did get a commitment from Nick at one point, and we'll see if it holds. We're going to get a tattoo of symbolizing our death pact.
Oh, that's true. We got to get one of those. Caleb and I decided some time ago that when we die, it'll be because we're killing each other at the same time in a fight.
Perfect.
So we need to get a tattoo to bind that in ink.
Well, I think that's the perfect way to seal that, and what an honorable way to go out, might I add.
Yeah, just
Killing a friend.
We're going to go on top of a mountain and have a sword fight in a lightning storm and stab each other through the heart at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
One of you like hold the sword, like your sword up, so you can get some lightning extra charge
Yeah,
on there.
that'd be
I'm
cool.
For you.
Absolutely going to do that.
Yeah,
Highlander is a very hit or miss franchise, and so far it's like one hit, a bunch of misses.
a bunch of misses.
But it is one of my all-time favorite IPs. I love the Highlander mythos so much. It's so cool and has so much potential, and has only been done right once, and that was barely.
Fair enough. All right, if you had to pick one random character to cross over with Highlander in the Highlander mythos, what would that be?
Blade.
Dang, that'd be cool.
Yep.
Blade on Blade, man. Who do you think would win? Would Blade just become the next Highlander? Would you?
I don't know. I mean, that's not how the Highlander were something else entirely. The thing is you can't try to make sense of the Highlander logic, because that's how you wind up with Highlander 2 or Highlander 3. And because they keep changing it, because they keep just absolutely ruining everything when they try to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I think it would just be a really cool thing to see between an immortal, Daywalker and an immortal of a different school. Probably
Fair
go
enough.
like hunt down some vampires.
Some vampers. It'd be a V war.
Yep.
Caleb, what about you though, tattoo wise, man? What do you got? Do you got tattoos on your mind? Do you got fluff money? Do you got?
No, not right now. I just spent a lot of money on tools for school. So, but hopefully, get some when school's done and got some, higher tier income coming in. And yeah, I still want to get I have plans for, full sleeves and finish my chest, do a whole back piece. Yeah,
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Do you have an idea for your back piece that you want, or do you just
lots.
something you want to get eventually?
Lots of
Like a full back
ideas. I'll probably they'll probably happen in
Nick
increments. Yeah, okay.
Do like a Mount Rushmore picture with like Nick, Jamison, and then you have to everybody else has to draw straws for the third face.
Hang on. I just remembered another tattoo pact.
Oh,
And that
yeah.
is, if I front the money for it, Caleb on his thigh will get a picture of me, a little cartoon picture drawing of me as a Khajiit from the Elder Scrolls,
That's
wearing
true.
some fisherman waders and holding a lockpick.
How much money would that require?
Not
Not much.
I mean, I'll throw down on that shit. I don't have money for my own tattoos, but I'd like to see that.
I'd gladly chip in for that.
You guys make the appointment. I'll be there. I'm a man of my word.
I have an adult money now. We'll see how this goes.
Let's see how this goes.
I've already explained
like
it to my girlfriend, so
It's all out there. It's all...
you know.
Dang, dude. Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm kind of with you guys though. Tattoos are it's become I don't know. It was something I wanted to make a bigger priority, but then you just gotta justify it the kind of hard these days. But I do have my fiance. She said for my last birthday, she was basically just I got $200 towards some sort of tattoo for you. next time I figure out what I want. So I was like, that will be nice.
See, that's great. Yeah.
It won't be my money. It won't be.
It's like a gift card.
Yeah, exactly.
It encourages you to go do that thing.
Nick's been spending all of his money on synthesizers, and how many things do you have in that room with you?
Do I have in this room with me? Okay, so I've actually downsized my studio a lot.
Yeah.
I've sold like 5 MIDI controllers, and I bought one that's on the way. That's going to replace the functions of the other 5 that I sold.
That's a good trade-off.
Yeah, actually, but I actually did just pick up this guy right here. That's a Reface DX. That's an FM synthesizer. Basically, all of the sounds of the synthesizers in the 80s were made on an FM synthesizer like that one. So I'm going to be making some aha, take on me type sounds, some she blinded me with science type sounds.
Science.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Dude, that's cool, man. That's super cool. Yeah, you've been just turning out random jams, man.
I can't pick a style.
Well, I think that's fucking all right, dude. It's just as long as you're having fun and you keep like enjoying the creative process. Like, I think it's silly when people try to like pin themselves into one particular thing, because then it just limits you so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just like, okay, now I'm just gonna be hyper focused on this style rather than like, whatever the fuck else. So I think it's a good thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my career too. It's a hobby, so I don't need to make myself marketable.
What was the name of the song for your most recent music video?
I don't really have a title. Oh, the completed one that I did, that was Katsudan.
Yeah.
Katsudan, which is the name of an elf character that a friend of mine was playing in a game called Hero Quest, which is just basically D&D Light as a board game. And Katsudan was an absolute badass. Went on a solo killing spree and killed like 12 creatures just on his own before he finally fell. He drew all of the enemies away from the party before he died. The party escaped the dungeon. So I wrote a song for him. Katsudan is also like a fried chicken cutlet over rice.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my frame of reference for it. That's cool. Man, all right. What, like, are you guys playing? Jamison, do you play any games or anything, or do you just like I mean, you got a kid, man. You got a whole different type of
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old,
type of thing to keep.
Usually,
I
work.
What's your child's name, if I may ask?
Caden.
Okay, cool.
He has another name too.
Oh, tell me the other one.
Ernesto Savage.
Yeah, because
what?
When the child goes absolutely nuts, I mean, he just goes like full rage mode sometimes, not in a bad way, just like running around.
It's all happening.
Yeah. And so when Caleb was living here with me, we decided that his alter ego was going to be Ernesto Savage.
That's dope.
I don't know why, but that's what it was. So.
We were drinking.
I mean, we did a lot of drinking those 6 months you were here. Oh my God, my liver is just barely recovering.
No.
I remember at one point during one of the fantasy seasons, we were trying to convince you to agree to the prize would be to name your child, and my suggestion was Horno Microondas. just microwave oven, but in Spanish. I read it on the side of a box when I was working in a lumber yard. It was written on the side of a microwave in the warehouse. I didn't know what it meant.
But it sounded awesome.
Horno Microondas Jones. Wind up on Key and Peele's East West Bowl.
Oh, no. That's cool, man. For what it's worth, Jamison, I think it's awesome that you're raising a kid, man. I think no offense to a lot of our other friends, but I think you would be a great fucking parent. So
hey, fuck you.
No offense. No offense. We're not ready, okay?
Well, and to answer your question, so like I said, me and Amy work opposite schedules, so one of us is always with the kid, and then I work 4/10s, so I usually work like 5:30 to 4:30 every day, and so basically on my weekends, like I basically just stay up till 1 a.m. playing video games that I've played way too many times, and that's about it. So
what are you playing right now, man?
They just came out with the new, well, it's not really new, but the Mass Effect remastered. So I'm playing through those 3 right now.
Nice. I heard about that remaster. How is it?
I mean, I haven't been blown away by like the actual remaster aspect of it, but it brings back all those old feelings, you know, and it's like I remember sitting and playing this game nonstop when I had nothing else to do, and so it's always good for that. But
that's cool, man. I always like it when you can revisit things and like the gameplay like that, like actually holds up and stuff like that. You know, you can still enjoy that.
They did fix the gameplay a lot for Mass Effect 1. I've played through Mass Effect 1, like the Unlegendary edition, like pretty recently, and it is just it is miserable.
Yeah, and I haven't picked those up in 5 years at least, so I don't really remember, but like I'm playing through it now, I haven't been like blown away like, oh my god, this is amazing, but the story is so good that it makes up for all of it.
Oh, yep. Ugh, that's what it's for, that story.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. That was one of those games like I literally just watched like everybody else play it. Like that was enough for me. Like I'm just like I have such a weird relationship with video games. Like I really love watching people play video games. Like I love like that kind of stuff. But
well, and I remember my first exposure to Mass Effect was at the estate, watching Caleb and Luke take turns playing that for like hours and just smoking so much hookah and getting smoked. And I remember Dusty would always put mouthwash in the water so that we would get drunk as well. And it's like, I don't know if that's how it works, but oh god,
that sounds like such a Dusty thing to do.
Yeah, we would put Listerine in the hookah water because it has alcohol in it, so we would get
like it'll work.
Where did he get the idea from?
I don't know, but
I've heard that before too.
And watermelon hookah and Listerine is not a great mix.
I can't smell that without getting pretty close to vomiting now. That smell is forever ruined for me.
Ooh. Yeah, dude. I don't know the last time I puffed on the hookah. I don't think I'd care to, even if it was one in front of me. There was just a time at the estate where there was like always one going, like either upstairs or downstairs. Like
I remember there being 3 at once, like one outside in the carport, one in the front room, and one in the bathroom downstairs. And the one in the bathroom downstairs was mostly weed, but allegedly.
I remember that one.
Yeah, every now and then there'd just be like a random Weesha bowl.
That's right.
Yep.
Somebody'd sneak it in there or whatever. It wouldn't always be acknowledged, but it was there. Yeah, the estate, dude. There's so much like there's like all that stuff. There's like, I mean, we had Mantar's wall of Jaeger bottles for forever, which was like, I mean, that was more impressive than the other random trash we collected. But
the Clooney poster.
The Clooney poster, the classic.
And the Scott Weiss painting?
Yes, I have questions about that. The last I heard was that you, Jamison, were in possession of the large, like, 8x10 painting, or 8x10 is way too big. It was a very large painting of Scott Weiss.
I can say that I've never been in possession of that. So
I was at one point.
Your sources are wrong, sir.
Damn it.
Yeah, I had it at my house for a while. Like, I can't remember because they wanted it gone from the estate, so I just took it home and like put it in my room to safeguard it. And then I think
wanted it gone.
Why did they want that gone?
I thought I like might have given it to Scott. I gave it to somebody. I can't remember if it was Scott. I lost track of it after that.
I wonder if it's somebody around the circle around the group has it. That'd be really interesting. I want to see with the Clooney poster, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Scott Weiss, how many of you guys were present for Scott Weiss's going away party?
I was, but only for the first part of it.
You talking about like when he was going to New Zealand?
Yes.
Yeah, bros and hoes.
I mean, I vaguely remember it because
Yeah.
I drank like a gallon of screwdriver, and then I tried to drink like another one. So
Hang on, I want to clarify the type of screwdriver here. He was not using orange juice. He had a gallon jug of Sunny
D.
Delight.
Yeah.
Come on, man. When you keep it trashy, you gotta keep it classy. Okay.
It was Sunny D and Manark.
Yeah.
You gotta
yeah.
make sure that you gotta make sure that hangover is intense with all that sugar, man. It's important.
Oh.
Dude, it was
I
definitely remember bits and pieces of that night. We'll say.
I have a really wonderful like tale about that night, but I don't know if I should tell it because without Scott Weiss like signing off on me telling it.
You know, if
I could probably do it.
I would say this, Scott probably would say yes.
All right, let's go with it.
Not
then.
that I've talked to him.
I'll be classy about it though.
Fair enough.
Well,
It involves somebody named Rob, not Scott.
yeah, Robert. So, yeah, oh my God. Well, from my perspective, what I remember Jared drinking the Sunny D and all that. There's a lot of people just shuffling around, coming and going. Scott wasn't really there for a lot of it because he had a lady friend from Kashmir who was apparently a very good piano player come visit him, and they were just like ruthlessly making out on the couch. And then they disappeared.
Ruthlessly making.
Like
I don't think any of us ever learned her name. She was just
No.
Piano Girl.
Piano Girl, that's right. That's what we
Ah.
called her because we didn't know her name. But they disappeared, and the party went on. I remember hanging out with like Jasper, and we went down to, like sneak away like to like a tennis court or something. And
Yeah, the
smoke.
tennis courts were across the street from the estate, the junior high.
And we allegedly were
I remember that.
smoking some reefer, I think, and we heard something, and we're like, "What is that sound?" And it was a very sensual sound.
Oh,
Someone was listening to Purple Rain, or
Lovers in the Dark.
yes, perhaps. And we realized that there were people in the soccer field making sweet love on the grass. And
Remember that,
then people on that were like coming and going in their cars, like turning their lights on, noticed this and started flashing their lights at them. And I remember looking up and seeing like just the silhouette of the two of them, and they're shining lights on them. And Robert is waving
Robert
his
Weiss.
hand like stop it, turn that shit off. Robert was not happy. So we all just left him alone and went back to our thing and giggled about it. And at one point, Robert came back and asked Luke and said, I need more condoms. And then he disappeared into the night again for a while. And then the party kind of started to end as it got really late. And I don't remember who all was there, but we were watching the Pokemon movie. I think it was me and Luke and Pat.
Yeah, I was gonna say Luke must have been up then.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he put it on, and it was like the sun was coming up. It was, we took like a nap or something. And then Scott just like, you know how that door downstairs at the estate just like slammed open?
Yeah.
He just kicked it open. Robert, I'm sorry. Shit. And Robert has his jeans draped over his shoulder, and they're just like soaking wet because of all the dew out in the field, I guess, or maybe the sprinklers came on. And we looked at him like, what have you been doing? And he said, playing the piano.
Oh man.
And then we smoked a bowl out on the tennis field while he was in his underwear. And then he drove me home, and that is the last time that I saw Scott Weiss.
If we're telling Robert stories, I have one as well. But
What do you got? Tell it, please.
I don't know if you
I love
guys were
Robert's
there.
stories.
I know Caleb was there because he was kind of playing sober that night, but Dusty threw a big party at his house, and for some reason, like a whole truckload of people from Wenatchee showed up, and Robert ended up in the corner making out with this girl. Well, it turns out that girl was the sister of one of the guys who was there. And so this big burly bastard takes a swing at Scott, and then we force him out of Dusty's house, and we're all watching him drive away. And then somebody just yelled that the cops were coming. So me and Scott and Filippo, if you guys remember Filippo, we sprinted out of Dusty's house, jumped the fence, and ran all the way to Pizza Hut from Dusty's house. Just because we thought the party was getting busted.
That's a long fucking way.
And then, I don't know if you guys remember Ryan Wynn. Either.
Yeah.
He picked us up, and Scott was like, all right, man, we got to go back. We got to save our friends if they're there. We can't let them go down alone. So
He's an honorable man.
What was he going to do?
I don't know, but everyone was just sitting in the hot tub like happy as can be, and they're like, where did you guys go?
I remember Rex was naked in the hot tub and just like walking around the house naked, just hammered.
But I remember Caleb was dealing with all the like drunk puking people, because there was a lot of sloppy people at that party, and Caleb stayed sober and was a real gentleman that night.
Some other than me.
A champion. Yeah, I definitely remember. God, dude, when Filippo was here, we did all sorts of we did a lot of drinking, man. That's how Mantar got written. Mantar got written in the Garlini's backyard because me and Filippo got day drunk a little bit, and then eventually it just people came over, one thing led to another, and blah 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 blah. But yeah, dude, we did I think we also invented that game. Not invented, it's not really a game either. I can't remember what it's called, Circle of Death or something like that, where it's one person's in the middle and you basically have a bottle of liquor. And we did this during its going away, I think, where it was you get obliterated. The person in the middle takes a swig and you pass it to one of the people in the circle. They take a swig, then you pass it back to the person in the middle. They take a swig, then you pass it back to the next person. It was a fucked up game. Filippo, though, I just remember Filippo did it, and he didn't seem. We were drinking the shittiest booze, because between me and him, we had very little money. We were drinking Skull vodka. And that dude did, he never, very rarely did he ever seem like he was full on fucking drunk. But he always drank tit for tat with me. I remember that, and that was always fucking crazy to me. Yeah, dude. I wonder what that cat's up to, man. It would be amazing to somehow get reconnected with him, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard to find him, but I mean, that was a year. I mean, he was here for a year, and he was part of the friends group. He was always with us.
Dude, yeah, he was right. Yeah, he was right there, man. He was awesome. I just remember the last time I had contact with him was, God, it was so. It feels like so long ago. It was over. I don't even think it was on Facebook. It must have been on MySpace still, and it was right before there were these protests and stuff that were happening in Greece, and he was basically his last message to me, at least, was where we had checked in. It was just sort of I'm going to Greece, and I'll talk to you later or whatever, basically. And that was the last time I had heard from him. And I think his intent, because he was always sort of, he had the mind for it, I suppose. He always was leaning towards wanting to be involved in protests and things like that for one reason or another. And so I'm wondering if he actually went there with that intent. But yeah,
maybe
it'd be interesting to try and
maybe he went there to topple the government.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe he did. He's running Greece right now.
Maybe he's living in some abandoned villa, just having a great time.
The shadow governor.
I thought it was just so funny that the Italian foreign exchange student was brought in, and he stayed at the Garlini's. He was I was like,
that is so Wenatchee. Everyone, it just seems like there's a giant conspiracy for Wenatchee to do the most stereotypical things. Okay, we got a Italian exchange student. We better put him with the one family that owns an Italian restaurant.
Otherwise, he won't know what to eat.
It's just so funny to me, dude. But the Garlinis were cool as shit. They were super down to earth folks, man. It's
good food.
I don't know. Yeah, good food, man. Yeah, I just thought that was just the fucking funniest thing. Like I cracked up about that the entire time that he was there. I was like, how is this happening? But it worked out so well because me and him skipped school so much the year he was there. Like, I don't know if it worked out. I'm not saying like that worked out well, but me and him skipped school so much that like, because the Garlinis were right across the street from the high school, and they had that hot tub in their backyard. Me and him would literally just get drunk on vodka, like 3 out of 5 days out of the week sometimes. And it was like, that's what we did. It was just we'd soak in the hot tub and get day drunk. It was relaxing.
That story just reminded me of it's kind of a little bit of a callback to you're asking what video games we've been playing, and I've been playing Assassin's Creed lately.
Which one?
And Valhalla. It's pretty good. It's different, but anyway, I was playing the old ones back then, like in high school, and when you said escaping from school, I was like, okay, I remember something pretty cool. I was so proud of this, but we had an assembly. It was like a pep assembly, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not gonna go. And Rex had managed to get out, and he texted me, he's like, hey, I'll wait for you, I'll pick you up, like just come meet me here or whatever. And I said, okay, I gotta get out of here. And I tried to go sneak out of the door to the by the wood shop. Like it opened up and they had the greenhouses for horticulture and then all that stuff, and there was like, you could run up that road by the tennis courts. And I was going to do that, and then a shop teacher was like, hey, you going to the assembly? And I was like, oh, I just got to go to the bathroom real quick. And I ducked into the bathroom and I waited a few minutes, and I poked my head out until he was gone. And then I got into the wood shop. I went out that door, and then I went to that gate, but it was chained up, like I couldn't get out. And I looked around and I saw like there's a ledge that led up to like the bus ramp. And I was like, I had it in my head. I'm like, I could do some parkour right now. Get out of here. I've been playing Assassin's Creed. I know how to do this.
I know how to do this.
And I did it though. I ran and I like planted a little bit on the wall, and I jumped up and I grabbed the ledge and pulled myself up. And then I jumped over the fence and ran through this guy's orchard. And then I found Rex out in the road and ran away.
I mean, that was the standard. I think in the 3 years I was at the high school, we went to like one of the stupid pep assemblies. I mean, we always just booked it out to Rex's truck and disappeared immediately.
Yeah, dude. It was always super easy to get out of shit like that. Sometimes. I mean, sometimes they would patrol and it was like you had to be a little shifty, but yeah, dude, that stuff was always like, as soon as you knew there was one for that day, you're like, okay, now I'm getting out early. It was like, I'm fucking dipping.
Just gotta prepare yourself for some evasive parkour.
Well, and particularly like with Troy's house being so close, I think his place was probably the closest. Like, it's like if you can get like a certain distance away from the high school, you were like, you're good to go.
You're safe.
Yeah, and then if you just make it to Troy's house or something, then like you're good to go. But it's also dependent on if like Troy was gonna skip, which that I think was like more of a pull. Sometimes he didn't always want to like risk it all, but he was always more respectful. Man, yeah. Well, let's see. I have so many random Robert stories. Like, there's one. Okay, so me and him. I mean, you guys probably know this, but me and him used to try to go out to whatever bar scene was happening in Wenatchee, which at the time was Fuel. And so it was like Fuel, and then there was like, if you just were like, fuck it, let's just go get drunk and like, whatever, you'd go down to Trav's and just like listen to people do bad karaoke, or you'd do bad karaoke yourself, which was also fun.
What was
Shout out
that
to Todd,
one?
by the way.
Sorry to cut you off, but what was that one club when we were in high school that was it like 10 Below or something? Do you guys remember that? I never went, but I remember hearing people talk about this. Like, I think it was an under 21 club in Wenatchee, which sounds like the worst thing imaginable.
So it was, I can't remember. It wasn't 10 Below. It was there was another club on the corner, like across from the park where they do Apple Blossom.
Yeah.
And
The volcano or whatever, right?
You could go upstairs, aside, like separate from their dance floor bar area, and they had a little room upstairs that we played some shows at.
Yeah, I can't remember what like I can't remember what the official like name of that was, but that was attached to the volcano club that was there for a while.
I remember because the Waldos, we played there a few times, and I remember one time you guys got really mad at me because the day of the show I just smoked weed all day and was like, I went longboarding for like 10 hours and I was exhausted, and so I played the show and I just kind of stood there and just played the bass, and you're like, you guys, you weren't moving, you weren't doing anything,
you damn inanimate object.
Yeah. And I think Rex took my longboard the day of the next show. He was like, you're not doing that again.
Confiscates your board. Damn. Yeah. So me and Scott or Robert, we would basically, because we didn't want to pay for drinks at Fuel or you know, one of the other quote unquote clubs in Wenatchee, we would go get we'd buy a bunch of Four Locos and go sit in the alley behind some of the businesses in Wenatchee at night. Because there's nobody there.
Do you mean the alley where the devil lives? The devil lives in Loco Alley.
Loco Alley. I forgot about that. Oh my god.
Dude, yeah. Loco Alley was like, it became like a fucking ritual for me and him, man. It was like I said, we'd buy like, I don't know, four Locos and like sit there and just hug them down. And we wouldn't, so I will say this, sometimes we cleaned up, sometimes we just assumed that the people that worked there would clean up for us. But me and Robert would then subsequently go to the clubs and try and like hit on women all drunk on Four Loko.
How'd that work out for you?
Just a terrible scene. Nobody, yeah, it's like you smell like corn syrup and vodka. And
get away from me.
Your team, depending on the Loco, might have a stain on them.
Did you try an Australian accent at one point?
I did, dude. There were like at multiple points. It's like I used to get so drunk that I would just like. It happened in Leavenworth one night in particular. I got so drunk I just started walking around the bar with talking to everybody in a fake Australian accent, and just cutting deep into like some sort of random backstory that I was like making up as the night went on. And so like and I think that like is what built. Like people just bought into it. That was like the weirdest thing I remember. I was wearing I remember the most distinct things about that night. I was wearing a neon yellow Carlton shirt. Like it was just like a shirt that just had like a giant picture of Carlton on it. and I was just like, it was at what's that fucking? It was during Oktoberfest, and like the tents were all closing down, so everybody was just like going to the bars, and so yeah, I was just walking around doing this fucking stupid fake Australian accent, and it was just so funny. Everybody was buying it, and then eventually I just stopped. Like I got drunk enough to do it, and then I got drunk enough to stop, where I just completely forgot to do it, and like. What I don't know. That was probably the best part of the night. Was like watching people's reactions as they slowly realized, like, this fucking asshole. he's just a damn local. I also almost got into a fight at the Shell gas station halfway between Leavenworth and fucking Kashmir that same night.
I remember I have another Robert story that came to mind.
Oh yeah, that wasn't even a Robert story. I forgot. But yeah, what's your Robert story?
He called me and he goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing. I'm just reading." And he's like, "You want to get high?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do that." And,
oh my God.
And he said, "Okay, I'll come pick you up." Picks me up, and we're like, "We're gonna do this," because you had to find a spot back then.
Oh yeah.
And we went to a cemetery and smoked weed in a mausoleum or something. just really disrespectful and really fucking weird. But we're like, no one's gonna look for us in there, and he's like, I like it, let's do it. And so we did. And then I don't know, I think we eventually met up with you, Jared, and like Calvin at somebody's house. I don't remember. I was obliterated, but
You were high, boy.
oh, like back when it was like new and it like changed your life. But I remember we both were like that, and he was driving us allegedly to someone's house, and he's just stopped at a green light for like a minute, and he's like, "Should I go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's green, go." We got to the house, and I think you showed up with, I think, a half gallon of BV, and we drank.
There it is. You know, the BV. Once the BV pops out, you know, the rest of the night starts going in a better direction. Yeah, there's multiple nights. What do you got?
Please, no, go ahead. You were starting.
I was just gonna say there were multiple nights with between me and Robert where it was like we'd drink too much at Local Alley, and then we'd get some more drinks to the bar, and then we would like either allegedly try to drive home, or we would just give up completely and try and walk either to Scott's or my parents' house. Scott's not really was feasible very often, depending on the state we were in. But there's multiple times we would like literally we'd get up the hill about like near where the junior high is, and we would just give up and pass out in the field or something.
It was a big ass hill.
There was one time there was like these apartments kind of near where the old junior high was, and they were like renovating the field that used to be the track field, and there was like a big fence there, and me and Scott got so tired because we were so fucking faded that we just climbed the fence in this field and like went and passed out in the old track field for like half the evening. It was so bad. And then we lost, on top of it, we lost Robert's keys, which his car was parked at my house. So like when we didn't realize it, so like we got up in this like weird stupor halfway in the night. We crawled back up the fence, like walked all the way back up, and like passed out for like 2 hours in like the basement at my parents' house. And then we got up thinking like, oh shit, we got to get your car and like get all this stuff like organized. And then we realized that like his keys were MIA. So we had to go back to that field that we passed out and like dig around for it. It was so fucking bad, man.
Hang on. Did he rip his pants that night?
He did. Yeah.
Because I remember there were multiple instances of Scott hopping fences Robert hopping fences for one reason or another. And I remember one of them, he like ripped like the entire like inner part of his thigh of his pants were just like ripped out.
Yeah, because the tops of the fence, we didn't realize when we were climbing it were it was had the spikies poking out of it. When we like got to the top, we were like, fuck it, just get over.
Climbed it twice.
Yeah, we climbed it twice. We were assholes. It was like we didn't think about it in the moment, but yeah. Local Alley takes away your logic sometimes. That's the lesson to be learned there. But yeah, dude, I also remember, Jamison, you mentioned 10 Below. That club, quote unquote, opened like below that fucking bar. What was it?
Applewood Grill. Yeah.
I used to get so drunk at Applewood. Me and Jake used to go so fucking drunk at Applewood during the day because he'd get off his night shift. I'd meet him at a cafe. We'd slug coffee and then wait till 11 a.m. and then go get drinks.
Nice.
It was a good cycle for a while. But I remember when that club, like, it was starting to get off the ground or whatever down there. And it was right around the time that I was dipping out of town that I decided to go on one last run down like Wenatchee Avenue, basically. And I got so pissed drunk that by the time I was at 10 Below, like I just remember somebody made the comment to me, like, you're like, what the fuck is your deal, man? You're spitting angry right now. And I was like, I'm not fucking spitting. And then I started spitting on the ground in there. I just kept spitting on the fucking floor. I was like, now I'm fucking spitting. And I just like kept spitting and then I got kicked the fuck out.
Nice.
Oh,
and
God.
then that was the same night I went to Fuel with Brian. Wouldn't like his name getting dragged down there, but I went to Fuel with Brian, who's like one of the most wholesome fucking dudes I've ever met. I'm just gonna say. And again, I was so like, because I was just like, fuck fuel. I went there, and like one of the first things I did was like, I need to sit down. So I just walked up to a table and just cleared the drinks off the table onto the ground and just sat down. I was like, fuck. And then like nobody did shit. So I was like, whatever, man. And so then I had to smoke. And then I was like, I want to go smoke a cigarette. And I was like, but wait, I'm not going to go outside. So I just popped one in my mouth and just totally Dave Chappelle'd it. And just like lit my smoke in the booth and just like waited for somebody to come up to me. And then like in the most gentle way, somebody came up and was like, hey man, you can't be smoking in here. And so I was like, okay, whatever, man, I'll go finish it outside. So I finished my smoke outside, and I was like, because at this point I was just determined to get kicked the fuck out of fuel, because I was like, how is this all happening? And nobody's like, there's no repercussions. So I just went up to the bar, and I was just like ordering drinks, and I can't even fucking remember. I ordered my drink, and then like the bartender put up another drink like right close to me, and so I was just like, boom, thanks, must be my drink, slammed it. And some like lady was just like, hey, that's my fucking drink, and started like yelling at me about it. And that's what got me kicked out of the club that night, was I accidentally drank somebody else's drink. It wasn't that I broke a bunch of glasses. It wasn't that I smoked on their like in their fucking like near their dance floor or whatever. It was just like, it was like the silliest reason to me. So for that, I just went around back, climbed on top of the building, and passed out.
Oh my god.
Revenge is not always a cold dish. It's a fucking weird dish. Okay. Like, I was like, God damn them! I'll show them. I'm gonna sleep on your roof.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, it was a weird way to end that night, I think. Especially just waking up. I just remember waking up there and just like, why am I on top of fuel? God damn, dude. Yeah.
Ooh, I just held in 5 sneezes. I'm sorry.
5 whole sneezes.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if you could hear him, but I held them.
It's a podcast record.
Jeremiah took a piss openly. And I'm trying to hold my sneezes.
I left it in there. I left that thing raw. Okay.
I heard it.
It was awful in all of its glory.
I was gonna bring up, I was thinking about stories to bring up. The first night that I met Jared, just talking about all of our old bands. I don't know if you remember this, but me and Dusty, and I think Caleb was there, and then possibly the Elliot and Joey, maybe. But we met you and Fitz at Taco Bell, and then we went back to Elliot's house, and we wrote the most horrible emo song ever imaginable. And I think I've heard it played on people's iPods in the past, but for the life of me, I do not remember the name of the band. But it was half acoustic, and Elliot and David sang on it. The worst thing imaginable.
I remember what you're talking about, the project. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me either. But
we recorded it, and it was like out there too, because we thought it was really good, and it was not good.
It was like a weird like sort of like a postal servicey attempt at like some sort of emo.
I remember that.
I can't. What the fuck was that called? Oh my god. Fitz would probably know.
He might know, yeah. But I just remember because we got together and we went to Elliot's house and we're all talking about this. I mean, we're talking about David's parents passing and then my dad passing. We got super,
it was like a heavy
serious, deep night, and we're like, we're gonna write this song. It's gonna be
I remember that. We drank tequila.
Yeah.
And then we wrote it. That's probably why we thought it was good.
Tequila.
Yeah. So maybe
I remember that, man. I do remember that occasion actually. Like that's kind of, dude, I haven't thought about that in a fucking while, but yeah.
Because that's the first night I ever met you. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was holy shit, man. That's wild. Yeah. You also just briefly mentioned Taco Bell there. Taco Bell was in both. I just have to mention it. In both like East Wenatchee and Wenatchee were these weird hubs of activity.
That was one of them.
Well, I remember at that time you were kind of doing a vegetarian thing, and I remember asking you,
that's right.
but if you're vegetarian, why are you eating Taco Bell? And you're like, well, sometimes when you drink, you just got to do things.
Good answer.
That is sound logic. You know, I did vegetarian stuff because my dad back in the day, me and him always had this tit for tat kind of relationship, and he was like making me do all like the gross work at his barbecue restaurant for the longest time. Like it was like clean out the grease trap, like dealing with like all like the fucking meat and stuff, which actually in retrospect I was actually really awesome, but the grease trap shit wasn't.
That's not great.
And so like as a way to stick it to him, I was like, I'm just gonna stop eating meat for a while. And it didn't. Yeah, what a fucking dumb thing that was, because it definitely didn't, like, I don't know, it didn't have any impact on anything except for my diet until I was drunk, apparently.
Oh, speaking of Taco Bell, the last time, I think it was the last time with Jeremiah, I was going to tell you the story. We ran out of time about going into Taco Bell with a boombox. Were Jamison or Nick, were you guys present for that?
I
was not there.
So what was it? We burnt a CD that only had what was it? Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yep.
And put it in the boombox. I went into Taco Bell, and Rex had his getaway car running.
Of course.
I think, so it must have been me and Rex and Nick and Austin, I think.
Yeah, that sounds like the crew.
And I just walked into Taco Bell, and
we have to talk about your outfit first.
What was I wearing? I don't remember.
So I think you were just wearing like a long coat with no shirt. I think you had a little necklace on at the time. But I remember this. This is a key part of this story, is how absolutely weird you looked. And you had these small like trick like sunglasses that had little holograms of eyes on them.
Yep,
I remember those.
Like perfectly round glasses with little holograms of eyes on them, and they would like change color and shape.
Yep, that's true.
All right,
so I was dressed like that, and I had a boombox, and I went in there. I remember it took a while because we had to burn the CD, get the outfit together, and then we had to find a bunch of like C batteries to power the CD player boombox. And then we drove to Taco Bell. There's a lot of planning involved in this. And I walked in there, and I turned it up as loud as it could go, and I pressed play, and I just held it up in the air like I was in the movie outside the window. And the employees just kind of looked at me, were like, what the fuck is going on? And I remember there's this one table of these like dudes, like maybe like in their 30s, and they're like, what the fuck is this? Like just getting mad. The whole fucking song, my arms hurt like hell. They were burning. And I was trying to keep a straight face, but I wanted to laugh like hysterically so bad that I was just like clenched up, and I was just crying because I was like trying not to laugh. So there's just tears streaming down my face. And the song ended. I pressed stop. I walked out. I didn't say anything to anyone. And then I just walked and got back into the car, and everyone in the car was like, what the fuck was that? And yeah, that's that story.
This is less exciting, but I remember going to Taco Bell with Flannery, and for some reason you were obsessed with coins at the point.
Yeah.
Instead of money. And so you walked up to the counter and you had a satchel of coins, and you're like, I'll trade you 2 golds for 1 burrito. You gave her 2 gold Sacagawea coins.
Yep. You would trade your whole McDonald's paycheck at the bank. I went with you one time.
Yep.
And you got like $58 worth of Sacagawea coins, and then just put them in a leather satchel.
Yep. Oh my god, I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's always the hardest thing about when you're like pulling off like some sort of ridiculous prank, is just like trying to like keep yourself straight faced and stuff like that. Like trying to maintain the seriousness of the character.
I don't know how I did it.
I always had a ton of respect for you, Jared, because you would like rock those super tiny yellow gym shorts just for shock effect, and just totally serious. It did not. You would wear those and like a cut-off T-shirt and a yellow headband, so it all matched. And you were just like going for it all the time. And
Like a tennis pro from the 70s.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to hold myself together at that point. So
It's
kudos to you, man.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that was always like the fun thing. I mean, like that was like the Schmouder show we played in Quincy, where it was like
Oh my
like to
God.
like a handful of seniors at like the rec center or something like that.
No, we were at a church.
It was at church. I was there. Yeah.
It
Oh
was
my
like
God,
it was like this like Christian community center thing.
It was
And
such-
Christian bands and then us.
such a bad setting. That was Rex's corpse paint. I think that was the first time he had corpse paint on when we played.
He didn't just have corpse paint. He did the same corpse paint as Abath from Immortal. So it was an homage.
It was an homage. It's respect.
I was in the audience. I helped you guys like set up and everything. And I remember just like looking at everybody that was there watch you and the looks on their faces. Like, what the fuck?
Probably about the time we got to the Serpent King part.
What the hell? But that was like that set. Like I think I was rocking like really short red shorts and like a fucking old, like it was like an old polo I had taken from my dad. So it was like a polo from the 80s. And was that the day I think we tried to scribble "Let's Party" on my chest.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we did that, but you're forgetting also I think that was the show that you were wearing that like satin white with the gold trim Kiwanis vest.
that thing got around, man.
Yep. Jasper wore that for one show. A lot of people wore that vest. That was a strange article of clothing.
It had like magic eagle-like powers. It just
I always remember Dusty's tweed jackets.
Oh god, yeah, dude. Yeah, Dusty's like he looks like he was a sports announcer who just picked up a guitar.
Dusty always had a great collection of blazers.
Dude,
you know?
he did.
It's because the Goodwill was right there, and that was just like prime time to buy bad 90s suits.
Oh,
That
And
people
Gil
just
had
abandoned.
so many.
he did, man. That was it. Like the Goodwill was pretty good those days, and that's where I always got like the most ridiculous shit to like try and wear. I remember though, like the one time I missed out on something super good was like I legit saw like a white leisure suit at the Goodwill, and I was like, oh my fucking god, like I have to have that. But I didn't have like any money on me, and there was like, the ATM thing wasn't in my wasn't my game, so I had to run home and get cash because I was still living at the estate. And by the time I got back to that fucking Goodwill, it was gone. Like somebody else had snatched it up in like the half an hour I was gone. I was like, damn, leisure suits are hot right now.
Oh, man.
I remember my favorite one of your Goodwill finds was this yellow sport coat. It was like this half blazer, half casual jacket. It kind of looked like a slightly more business casual version of like Luke Skywalker's jacket from the end of A New Hope. I love that jacket. Bill the Viking wore that jacket in
I remember that.
in our movie The Eyes of Russell.
Ooh, that was a great movie.
Wow. I mean,
I don't know Jared might not even know what that is.
I know the jacket, but what's this movie that you guys are talking about?
it was a project for psychology.
Yeah, for Schmouder psychology
And
class.
it was me, Rex, Jamison, Nick was in it.
And what was the time? What was
The
what was it
Eyes of
called again?
Russell.
The Eyes of Russell.
It was
And
about
Caleb-
me with schizophrenia.
Yeah, Caleb played a paranoid schizophrenic, and Nick was his I don't even know what to call it. Nick
Hallucination.
was hallucination, and he was just a Viking, and we were just like running around Wenatchee, and at one point Caleb like had a episode and cut his hand off, and it was a great movie. I mean, it would have really done well in theaters. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, we went in with $1 million budget, made $4.5 million on that at the box office. I think it went pretty well.
Yeah.
You should submit it to Sundance.
That's some good numbers.
I still remember some of the best parts of it were. So I edited that film, and I wasn't even in the class, and I did like a whole bunch of like the editing work for you
did
guys.
the most work, Nick. Like out of anyone, it was only me and Rex. Caleb wasn't in it either. Caleb starred in it. Nick did all the editing. I literally had 2 minutes, and I shot it with my mom's like little handheld camera. And Rex had like 1 minute as the psychologist.
I got waterboarded.
I want to talk about your. No, hang on. That was Eyes of Russell 2.
Oh.
I want to talk about your avant-garde.
Wait, hold on. There's a sequel?
Yes, because the year that me and Caleb actually
so...
did get into the Schmouder's psychology class, we had to make a sequel to Eyes of Russell.
Okay. So continue down. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Continue down the Eyes of Russell path here.
Okay, so I did all of the editing on that film, and I had 90% of the work was correcting for when Jamison was holding the camera and would just at random switch from holding it horizontal to holding it vertical in the middle of a shot.
I thought it auto-corrected, and I didn't realize it did not have that technology. I was trying to go for like from full screen to widescreen in one movement, and it did not work out.
I was having to like do separate cuts and like do quick cuts, like smash cuts into things. I was having to do I was trying to like fake reaction shots of what was just available on that camera just to mask like the scene where the camera starts to rotate and then there's another shot and then it finishes rotating and now the movie's aspect ratio is in vertical digital camera format for no reason.
And the funniest thing about it was you edited all of it out except for one scene, and I remember watching everyone in the class, their head, like the camera turned and everyone's head turned sideways. Oh, it was so funny.
Don't be such a fucking wet blanket editor, Nick. Don't try to stifle his creative vision.
Hey, that was a lot of work that I put into a project that I received literally no credit for.
Nothing.
No compensation. Just the opportunity to dress up like a Viking with the shield that I made in woodshop and a sword that I bought in Butte, Montana.
It's your debut as a filmmaker.
It really was.
So
yeah, hang on.
What?
I gotta clarify because we brought it up because of the jacket. At one point, halfway through the film, while the vision of Bill the Viking in like Viking garb, or what a 16-year-old kid could put together for Viking garb, is tormenting Caleb. At one scene, he's just not wearing that anymore, and he's just wearing like slacks and a button-up shirt and that yellow jacket, playing the bongos.
Dear God.
It made little sense.
Bill the Viking was a malevolent spirit until the sequel.
And they gave me a I got electroshock therapy, but they used my B-52 half stack.
Yep. We had to we tied him down to the pool table with guitar straps that weren't tied to anything. And then we hooked him up with a couple guitar cables and we turned on the amp for the switch shot.
It's great.
Perfect. Yeah, it's cinema gold. But that was in the sequel?
No, this was all in the first film.
Original. Yeah.
Oh my God, the first film sounds.
This is all the first film. The first film, the plot synopsis is that so the Russell is a paranoid schizophrenic. He's being tormented by his hallucination of a Viking. He has an episode where he chops off his hand with an axe that Bill gives him.
But it turns out his hand was just inside of his sleeve. He thought he cut it off, but he didn't.
But he didn't.
So Russell passes out during this episode, and he gets rescued by Jamison, who shows up like just strongman, picks up Caleb, throws him over his shoulder, runs in, and then just straight up just like pro wrestling, just hucks him into the back of his big ass like F-150 that you had.
Yeah, I had my lifted truck. I didn't have a single line in that whole movie. I just ran in, like sprinted in, grabbed him, threw him over my shoulder, and then threw him into the back of my truck, and then I peeled out in the state park, which we got yelled at for.
That shit hurt.
Oh, dude.
Like I was laying in the back while we were driving, we were just like, oh my fuck.
Why?
And so, anyways, after he gets rescued by Jamison, he gets taken to the psychiatric ward because it's the 1950s. We needed it to be an appropriate period of time for someone to get a lobotomy.
That's right.
And so obviously Rex is playing the doctor. His name's Dr. Kazabrot.
cheese bread in German, to clarify.
We were so creative. Like, honestly, this is solid.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm with you, dude. Like, it's who makes up like this deep for like a character shit and like this random of shit just for like a psych project? Is that?
Yeah, that was all just we just had to make like a 5-minute video for psychology.
If you thought Shutter Island was crazy, you gotta see this shit.
I mean, I don't want to compare myself to Scorsese, but you should.
I'm gonna
see
do
the
it.
film.
I'm gonna say you're Scorsese. I'm definitely not DiCaprio, but Rex was a very good actor.
Yeah,
So-
oh my God, Rex did like a shoe polish mustache, and it was this like horribly thick thing.
He
The
did
black
a German
metal face.
accent too, didn't he?
I don't.
No.
He didn't do like an accent, but he did a voice.
Okay, yeah.
Like this very strange voice. I remember my favorite line, my absolute favorite line in that entire movie, is that he's doing like a Rorschach test, and we didn't even understand how the test worked at the time, so we just showed Caleb a piece of paper with some ink, and he was like, "It looks like a Viking." And then Rex's response is something like, but Russell, Vikings don't live in the 1950s, they live in Norway.
I don't know if it was in the first or the second one, but there's a shot of him where it just cuts to him, and there's a blast beat playing, and he's just going, "Ah!"
Oh no! So we actually got really creative with the camera work in Eyes of Russell too. So we made sure that literally every single time the camera cuts to Rex, his face is turning to look into the camera. Like his face, for some reason, whenever he's not on screen, is looking at something else, and then he turns to look at Russell for every single line that he says.
Sometimes it was really slow. Those are my favorite, when it's just like, "Yes." Like it's so good, so bad, but amazing.
We gave him some of the best lines, like so when Russell was brought out of cryogenic freeze. That's where we're at in the plot. He was wearing the jumpsuit, which was that like garbage man suit that we once again found at Goodwill. And then Russell's sitting there asking Dr. Kazabro, "What am I wearing? These aren't the clothes that I was brought in." And then Rex stands up wearing just normal people clothes, and he says, "It's the future, Russell. Everybody dresses this way." And then just walks out.
There's a part later where I'm running through town, and I look around at everybody that's like actually just going about their day in Wenatchee.
In Wenatchee.
And I'm like, nobody dresses like this. What the hell?
What is this? I'm the only one.
He's like suspiciously peering into like that dress shop that specializes in like quinceañeras on Wenatchee Ave.
Yeah, the Tex-Mex place.
Like freaking out those poor women inside the
lady
shop.
was looking at me like, "What is this guy about to do?" He's wearing a jumpsuit.
Don't know.
And you had that like brown leather satchel too.
Yeah.
It was a real letdown because I remember to play that, Schmouder had us upload the video on YouTube, and it was on YouTube for years. And I remember it's been a while now, but I tried to look it up and they're both gone, but they were on YouTube for years.
They were.
Nick has them.
Yeah, well, they're on one of my old YouTube accounts, and the thing is that they all of the audio got deleted from it because of the copyrighted music that anyone could upload to YouTube at the time. But since like YouTube's changed since then, so now I had Isaac Hayes in there. I had like half the Kill Bill soundtrack, like a bunch of Pink, like Adam Hart Mother by Pink Floyd. Was there.
I think that was it.
Yeah,
I think that was at Rex's request because we were real into that album at that point.
It's a really good album.
It's great.
But no, it got absolutely smashed for the copyright claims. And
Didn't you sent me like email files?
yeah, I have. I think I have them on my Google Drive. I still have versions of them. I don't know if I have the original Eyes of Russell.
You sent me everything you had, and I think it was like, it wasn't perfect, but it covered pretty much everything.
I mean,
dude, some of it's.
If you dig around and you find that, I would love to I would love to just check to watch it. It'd be so much fun to watch that. That sounds
I'll look for the email he sent me, and I'll try and forward it to you.
Yeah, I'll see if we can get you a link to the drive. There's some classic stuff in there. Like, I don't know if you saw the Yeah, I found it on my old PC's hard drive that had been sitting on a shelf, like outside of a computer for 10 years. And I pulled it open. I finally got a machine or a part that could read it. And I found like some of the old clips, like Fuck Old Spice. Do you remember that one?
That one's still up.
That one's still up on YouTube.
I'm gonna look for it right now.
Copyright.
The lightsaber.
The lightsaber one with Dylan, that one was there, but that was like 3 seconds long. I do have I don't know if you saw the firefight that we did.
I think I did.
It was like Zach was sitting on the couch, Jeremiah was in it. He does an instant transmission move. He's got a crossbow.
Yeah. I remember that.
Man.
Dude,
Would that be under like what account would that be under, Nick?
I don't know. Search for Arrow and Shield.
what about,
I know that's there.
Yeah.
What was the name? Remember the trailer we made with Elliot?
Super Death Brawlers 3.
Oh my god! And I was
Super
only in
Death
one
Brawlers
scene of that when we did the full-on street brawl.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude. That was a fucking hoot to
That was fun.
film.
Yep.
Joey
I
with
found it.
He's greater.
Yeah, the cheese grater Joe, dude. Cheese grater. The
So
most
yeah.
vicious grater on the street, dude. He'll shred you. That was
Sorry.
always my favorite part of the trailer is that when they jump to just cheese grater Joe just going at it.
So
Zach
Jared,
gets his
if,
face cheese grated off, and then Joey does the Joey scream. It's just
Yeah, dude.
Jared, if you wanna look it up on YouTube, it's Rafford McGonson, and there's me shooting a bow at Nick. There's Fuck Old Spice and part 1 and 2 of Isa Russell. 13 years ago. Holy shit!
yeah,
What?
13
Oh my
years
God, dude.
ago.
I'm gonna subscribe.
I'm gonna.
He's not uploading anything new.
Well, he has 2 subscribers now.
I haven't logged. I don't know how to get into that account. That information is lost to time.
Well, I will save
Dude,
this link.
I feel that.
On another note, just in preparation for this morning, I was looking up when I was bored at work, like trying to see if I could find old flyers for Grange shows. And I noticed Ryan Johnston uploaded a 50-minute set of Waiting for Daryl at the Grange. And
Whoa.
and like I think in just the last couple weeks, and I spotted myself and Rex in the crowd. But so you guys might want to check that out on YouTube, and you might be able to see yourself there.
That's cool, man.
The
Heads up.
recording quality is pretty horrible, but it's still worth a watch.
Fair enough. Yeah, dude. God, dude. Waiting for Daryl. The drummer for that band, Joey, worked on my dad's barbecue restaurant for a while. And
Yeah.
so I got to know him strangely well. But do you guys remember that guy? He was like, I think he was like their manager or something like that for a while. But he he was like off and on book shows at the Grange. And there's one night, God, I wish I could remember his name. He was a fucking prick. But he like booked DFR played, and then he didn't give him their cut or something like that. And
Are you talking about Ken Coco?
No. This is a different guy. I don't remember his name, but are you talking about the van incident, Jared?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
So not to give things.
I remember his
let's-
name.
but-
I'm not gonna say it.
Let's just maybe not go in too depth, but I do
I was just gonna
remember,
say,
and I think I still have my mask. Just to say, I think
dude.
it's down in my mom's shed because I'm pretty sure I saw it last time I was there. I have
enough.
my mask.
That guy, I just remember like that was the thing that like started turning me off with like the guys from Waiting for Daryl. They were like all right. Like I didn't really dig their music too much, but they were like really like
They were the
connecting
most-
a lot of the different types of music in the scene that at that point they were really like helping book shows and stuff like that.
During the Grange days, they were the most important band in the Valley for sure.
Definitely.
Like without Waiting for Daryl, the Grange wouldn't have been a thing. And
Yeah.
like they were, so what would that be, like from 04 to 06 when the Grange got shut down, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, I agree with you, dude. Like I think they were probably the most important band at the time right there because like I said, they were the ones that were like really pushing to like get things booked. They were the ones that were like reaching out to outside bands to like bring them in.
And they had some
but they were also older, like, you know, they were like, you know, they were older than us like by a few years, I think.
A lot, yeah.
And so they were kind of like the seniors of the music scene at the, not like, you know, like they were like the, you know, they were just, it was good that they were taking charge because there's a lot of young bands that were starting to like play.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to have them as like this sort of like backbone to like provide other bands an avenue.
Yeah, well, and they dealt with getting the Grange set up every week, you know. It was like for a couple years till it all fell apart, it was every weekend up at the Grange there was a show.
Yeah,
and
dude,
you know, by the
wild.
end when they got shut down, like I remember me and Rex were there for the last show at the Grange, and there was like 15 people there total, and it was just such a letdown because at the height of it, I mean, there'd be 200 kids every weekend, and it was so cool.
It was, at least, you know, in modern history for Wenatchee, that was probably the most successful string of time for music, because it was like you were saying, dude, it was consistently packed for like every weekend, and it was weird if there was like a small weekend, you know what I mean? That was like the anomaly, and that is sad, dude. I do kind of I can't remember if I was at the last show, honestly. I hope I was, but
I didn't make it.
No.
But that feels like the way that like it's like in this weird way it makes sense that it went out like that, because it was such a deflating thing to find out that it was being like they were no longer letting us play there.
Well, and
you know
then
what I mean?
at the end as well, like shows were getting shut down before the end of the night, you know, the cops were showing up and people had just kind of lost interest a little bit, when it was just like, it was a really like, it was a huge letdown because there was just a solid 2 years of the scene just blowing up. And maybe I'm glorifying it, you know, as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid, but
I really don't think you are. I think you're on the money.
And I remember, I mean, they got Circa Survive to come play, the Human Abstract came and played. Both of those bands had like record deals. Like the Wenatchee scene was solid for a little period there, and it was it was really, really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, I agree, man.
It was an easy place to stop for bands in between Spokane and Seattle, so I mean, it was a lot easier to lure bands here that might not have come otherwise.
Well, and like Waiting for Daryl, I remember they had like kind of connections with that sort of indie label. What was it? It had something to do with ramen.
Oh, like, Fueled by Ramen.
Fueled by Ramen. And
that's like the Paramore Project label.
Yeah,
they're like an actual label now.
I think that helped. Like I think that helped like bring in people, you know, just in general. But yeah, dude, the music scene then was fucking popping, dude. I remember, I have vivid memories of like getting dropped off and like kind of near where like that, you know, like the old Kmart was in Wenatchee, and just walking up the road towards the Grange, and you just see like pockets of punks fucking walking up, and like pockets of people just like sort of drifting.
There's just more
direction.
And more cars, and
and then you slowly get there and the streets like lined, and then you get like, you just start hearing the noise, and then you start seeing people loitering around, and then out back it's just full of fucking cars, and there's people everywhere. You go inside, somebody's setting up, there's like energy just everywhere in that motherfucker, and it was a good time to be a part of that fucking scene, man. It was something to do, and that was the drag about when they fucking took that away. It was like, what was that like? I mean, and it's not necessarily like, I guess it's not, you can't say like they took it from us, you know, but
I don't blame them. I mean, we destroyed that venue. If I would have owned it, there's no way I would have rented it out to us kids.
Exactly. Like with considerations, it was a logical choice. But what sucked was that was the linchpin place. Yeah. And so as soon as that was gone, there was just nothing you could do. There was nowhere you could play except for if you knew a house, or like what, you know, the random like where the random Centennial Park show, you know.
Well, and all of those, they all got shut down after that. Like the Grange was in the perfect location where no one really cared, you know.
It wasn't in the middle of downtown. It was off the fucking path, man. It was out of town. Like it was on like, it's Sunny Slope or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So
Up there on Easy Street.
Up there on Easy Street. But I also remember for a brief period of time, there's like this place called the Flash Disco that like they did a couple of shows, but again, that place closed up and it was just like nothing was able to fill the absence of like, you know, that extra stage either.
Well, it was just another one of those, like, it was on the Ave, it was in downtown Wenatchee, but they didn't serve booze, so there was not really any reason for anyone to go there except for once a month when we would have a concert there. And
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, no one ever showed up.
Yeah. But yeah, that was oh man. But like still some of my like favorite like sets and nights I definitely think were probably at the Grange, just seeing random fucking shit.
Yeah.
Just because there was just so much, like it was just I don't know, there's just a lot of like really cool energy. And then like without that, Wenatchee became pretty stagnant for a hot second until I think a handful how do I say this? I don't ever like to take credit for like being part of the music scene, getting it off the ground again, but I think there's a lot of people that I know that helped with that there. You know, like people like Jeremiah, people within our circle, you know, as well as like some Wenatchee cats. But there's a real push after like enough stagnation to just like we have to start doing something.
So
you know,
we had like a really small little resurgence, like probably like 2009, 10, where like, because that's about the time that like electronic music got like more popular for just, you know, like the festival scene was really big at that time and more people were into it and more people were doing it. And there was a small group of people that I knew that would do stuff like, I remember there was a guy named Mike, and he would the first time he was just randomly mixing in Hot Topic. I don't know why.
Wait,
Sounds
you
like
mean Flying Mike Sheasley?
Yeah, and then I talked to him and
Flying Mike.
I was like learning how to mix and do all that stuff, and he's like, yeah, like you should, you know, come over, I'll show you some stuff. And I kind of started hanging out with some of those people, and there's like another like Grange type of building right like by Larry's Chicken in East Wenatchee, and we threw a rave in there. We played raves out in the woods and stuff. Like I got to DJ out in the woods one time.
Nice.
There's some weird stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was when like Schmouder, like I mean I don't know if that was exactly the same time frame, but like in that sort of like time, like, you know, weird post Grange era, that's when Schmouder started playing at the fucking open mic night. I drag everybody to the open mic night.
Open mic night was kind of that was like the second serving of the Grange crowd. Like it was sort of a last hurrah, I think I might have called it, at least mine.
Yeah, I think it definitely like it was like something to look forward to, I think, because you knew that there was at least something going on there. And that was like the weird place Wenatchee was in. It was just like you gotta find something, like whether it's like a, you know, a party out in the woods, like some random like open mics, or, you know, maybe somebody's playing maybe Ghost Fire's playing a basement show or something, you know. But yeah, it was weird. It was like everybody was forced even more underground.
Schmouder played a show in the attic of like that flower shop downtown.
Oh yeah, that was when Rex had a broken arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we hooked up the hi-hat. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah. He had
I vaguely remember that.
From doing what I remember as the most epic sounding thing at the time, because he was, if I ever recall, he was bombing a hill on the loop, and he like tried to pull off a coffin or whatever, and so he was like laying on his board, and it was when he tried to get back up, he like fucking beefed it and broke his arm. But I was like, at least you did it doing something fucking rad. But no, yeah, he had like the hi-hat like rigged up, so it was like a janky piece of like duct tape and connects, and it was like,
oh yeah,
it was like the hi-hat it was like set to like press down on a key that was like on a program on the fucking keyboard to like do like, I think it was just the hi-hat symbol, I think. Or I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but it was just the most janky thing. It was just so fun. But that night was fucking fun, dude. I remember that.
Yeah, that was a good show.
That was a good set. It was a good set. I think that was the last time that they were able to like play a show there though, because that I think that night like a bunch of hanging pots got like, you know, knocked off the ceiling from below and like broke and stuff. So the business owner was like, I ain't doing that again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I guess we didn't really anticipate that, but we were literally above a flower shop. We should have known something was going to happen.
It was bound to rage. Oh man. All right, fellas, we're about 2 hours deep into this. I think I'm gonna cut it off here because I want to save some more for the next time I round you guys up.
Yeah.
All right.
But I want to guarantee though that we are gonna get all back together and do this again though, because this has been a fun occasion.
I'm down.
We will.
Yeah, literally anytime, man. So.
All right, I'm gonna keep that group chat together, man, because I would love to do this real soon again, because it's just fun, man. It's just fun like hashing this shit out. You guys remind me of stuff that like it's like I have like bits and pieces, and then you guys bring up like the rest of the story, and it's just like boom, all of a sudden there it is again, and you're just like,
Yep.
I love it, man. I love it.
Oh,
All right, guys. Let's all three. Okay. I'm gonna think of one word. Jamison, you think of another word. Caleb, you think of another word. Nick, you round it out with the last word. Okay.
To complete a sentence.
Sure.
Okay.
Possibly. Jamison, go.
Nope, Caleb, go.
The most
Entertaining.
Nick.
Bonsai.
There it is. Possibly the most entertaining bonsai. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.